Today's the day, true believers, the day in which I start my journey from the basement, and I'd like you to come along with me. On our first adventure today, we're going to visit Jake Seeley, professional BMX rider, former competitor in X Games Real Street, one of my best friends, and owner of the Bomb Shack Vintage in Pittsfield, Mass., a beautiful city in which I've spent lots of time skateboarding and eating lots of delicious food. I want to share this city with you, and I want to share this spot with you, because I feel like there's a lot of geeks who would really appreciate it. Come along, true believers, as we visit a close friend. True believers, I want to thank you for coming with me on my first interview out of the basement. I'm here with an old friend of mine, one of my best friends, professional BMX rider, former Real Street competitor, right?
Yes, actually, Real Street.
And owner of Bomb Shack Vintage here in Pittsfield, Massachusetts, man. The first thing I want to ask you is, do you consider yourself a geek?
Yes, most certainly. I mean, if I'm surrounded by this stuff, I'm a geek of stuff.
Yeah, I see a lot of stuff here, man. So you're probably a kid of me, or a kid like me of the 80s, the 90s. I see Game Boys, I see posters, I see Nikes, definitely Thrasher sweatshirts, stuff like that. So would you say that being a geek has contributed to the type of style that you have at the store here?
Yeah, it's made me like passionate about these certain things, you know, like just like the nostalgia, like right from you said, like the Game Boy stuff to like old music we used to listen to, like old sports teams, like any of that stuff. Like the marketing, the branding was like shoved down our throats. So like if you weren't, it was pretty hard not to be part of it or be interested in it in the time, you know. So
Absolutely.
yeah, I'm definitely a geek for this stuff. I love it. I love being surrounded by it.
If there's one thing you had to say was your geek passion overall, I mean, besides what you do for work, that's a passion.
Yeah.
But the thing you geek out for the most out of everything you have here, what would you say?
That's a strange one, but like I'm a huge Looney Tune head.
Looney Tunes,
like
dude.
I grew up pretty hard on Looney Tunes, and like just the humor, the illustration, everything was so like, I don't know, it hit so different and so right. Like I feel like that's when the cartoons were really on point, and they really like had messages of all sorts.
You talk about branding. That's one of the things I think I've seen the most. I mean, you see like
dude,
Bird, Bugs Bunny, the Space Jam, the Comeback Alone. They brought those vintage jerseys. I'm sure if you haven't sold them here, I'm sure you've seen what they're going for.
Yeah, no, they're going for a pretty penny for sure.
Yeah,
and it's crazy. They had branding with what was it, like WWF type stuff. They had branding, NASCAR. They had fishing stuff. They had monster trucks. Like anything Looney Tunes could get their hands in, they were trying to market and brand some type of like
currently multiverse
collaboration with them.
The game Multiverses. It's all WB characters, man. And my son literally just wrecked me as Bugs Bunny.
No way, really?
Yeah,
so that's
absolutely.
carrying on even to this day. See, Looney Tunes will never die.
Yeah. So would you say being a geek today is like it was when we were kids? Do you think it's okay to be a geek now?
I think we've made it cool to.
Yeah, I think so too.
I think even like the younger generations are seeing how cool this stuff was, and like us geeking out on it is kind of like, oh, maybe I should check that out. And then they realize why we're geeking out on it and why we're so into it, you know. And I think that's why it's going to carry on. Like that's why the 90s are going to live forever. Like in the 80s, like even like for like Looney Tunes and stuff like that, that happened like way before I was even born, you know. And then I was like brought into it, you know. So like, there's no reason why like, that can't keep like just like circulating, you know.
Absolutely, man. So cool to be a geek then. Cool to be a geek now. Cool to be a geek in the future. Thank you for your time, man. I'm sure we'll be seeing each other soon. Love you too, man.
Glad to be here.
Thank you, geeks.